Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Is the shutdown over? Well, not officially yet, but we'll see if it ends this week. We still need the house. It should end, but we'll see. Good morning, John. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Patrick. I'm glad you're here, Patrick. Thank you for putting in the news and some of the earnings strategy. Yay! Why don't they just buy all Bitcoin at this point? Uh, What else do we have? Mary Daly was speaking this morning. I'm just go scrolling through this. What was this? Monday.com? Beat, stock down 19. Well, it's not a happy Monday for them. Oh boy. What else do we have? I saw Sterling, you have to leave for the orthopedist. I hope your hand will be doing better. Glad you get to see the orthopedist today. What else do we have? Good morning, Tony. Good morning to Patrick and Rusty over on Rumble. Hope people spotted the percent B buy in some of the markets, like the S&P and Nasdaq. We have the gold. Well, it's definitely going to trigger the double bottom, but it would have had to be traded on the break. With the government reopening, 40 trillion in debt projected. Gold taking off, so silver. Inverse head and shoulders. Good morning, OD Green. Hello, Charles. All right. So we still don't know when we're going to get the data because the government's still not officially open yet, and then it takes time to compile the data. Good morning, Balaji. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Yogish. Did I say that right? So, today, 3 6-month bill auctions, the WASD report, which is not coming out. Good morning, Jacob. Tomorrow is Veterans Day in the USA. The stocks are open. The bond market is closed. The cash bond market. The futures will still trade, but the cash bond market is closed. And banks are closed and no mail. So just remember that for tomorrow, Veterans Day. Wednesday, more Fed speak. Thursday, don't know if we're going to get an initial continuing jobless claims at all. Other than that, Thursday, the EIA numbers are on Thursday and not Wednesday because of the holiday on Tuesday. It's delaying data like the EIA numbers. Friday, normally we would have had the PPI, but we don't know about that. We get retail sales, don't know about that. So right now all we can count on are some Fed speak and some rig counts. S&P 500 map is with the mega caps and chips, everything's green. Buy all the momentum and the Mag 7. That's where we sit. Get rid of that consumer defensive. We don't need to worry about consumer defensive. By the way, there's going to be some great setups longer term in consumer defensive at some point. So, what else? Oh, healthcare is dropping. Healthcare is dropping. Groups, everything's positive except consumer defensive. With basic materials and your metals leading, technology and comm services all leading. Fed Watch has a 65% probability for another cut in December, only 65%. Fear and greed, still an extreme fear that'll definitely pop out today. There's a 5-minute inverse head and shoulders that triggered around 2:10 p.m. on Friday that provide a roadmap for the rest of the trading day. Hit all 3 targets. All right, so we should pop out of extreme fear. Case-Shiller PE 39.67. That should pop above 40 again today. In terms of earnings, thank you for putting in some of the limited earnings this morning. There's not a lot. There's a lot of companies reporting this week, but not a lot of important companies. At all. Oh, you got Beyond Meat tomorrow morning. We got Cisco after the close on Wednesday. We got Walt Disney before he opened on Thursday. And I mean, we applied materials after the close on Thursday. And I mean, really, that's it. I mean, if you're holding these companies, then you got to be paying attention to earnings. But other than that, there's nothing that's really going to be market moving. That's pretty funny, Patrick. That's a good quote. So, all right, potential percent B buy bar, which unless we get massive selling, looks like it's going to trigger today. This had to be actually traded last night on a little minor pullback in order to get in at a reasonable price. It's also breaking above the trend line. Uh, the next key level for me, 68.42 on a closing basis. Closing basis, that shifts the probabilities higher. So guess it's already in the first target area for the percent B buy to at least raise a stop. From my perspective, close above the 62.5 today. That would be the next intraday target also. Can see here right around that 62.5. There was some support, resistance spike through, but quick reversal, and then a spike up area of resistance. So that 68.42 area is the next target, and then I'm watching for the close above that. Get the close above this, 68.79, and then 69.16. Those are my next two targets based off the based off the harmonics. I might look a little lower, about 68.77 for instead of the 68.79 target, but the magnet price is still 68.79. Support, if we don't hold something or something goes horribly wrong, it's the Friday close. It's Friday's close. What's the official Friday close? The official Friday close is 67.53.75. Before that, I'd be looking at the open, 67.63. If we really start breaking though below 67.45, it's uh-oh. It's uh-oh time. So keep that one in mind. Other than that, this with the price action on Friday, this was a short-term capitulation bottom with the probabilities. And we set up a percent B buy, and it looks like it's falling through today. Also cycles at the bottom, right down to nearly oversold conditions. So I was not surprised even with the shutdown stuff possibly resolved and the futures last night. There was no surprise here for the NASDAQ. Percent B buy set up on Friday. Again, for anybody new here, I'm sharing the rules. High-low close divided by 3, length of 5-period percent B, Bollinger Band percent B buy, standard deviation of 1. If it's below 0, and then the next bar closes above the high, so you can get in on the intraday break. All right, we're trading right at this trend line. It's technically, we have this trend line and then this trend line. That's the initiating point, defining point, which is a new initiating point. So we're trading right against there, and the 50% harmonic, which is the first target. Now this one was, NASDAQ was a lot easier to get in than the S&P. Other than that, first target hit. Key support I'm looking at is about 25,330, and then it would be to the gap fill down around 25,227. Next targets, the ones I'm going to be looking at this week, once we can get through, if we can get through this 23,550 area, 558, 560 area, 25,765. If we close above there, that shifts the probabilities, and we're looking at 25,976. I'd bump that down a little, about 25,950, and then 26,187 would be the next magnet price higher. All right. On the rollover, the first key area of support I should list off is 25,314, which is the gap, the little gap up, and then we reverse from there on Friday. All right, so that's what it sits. The probabilities are into place, and we have the percent B buy, which is, unless we get massive selling, will trigger today. So it's just managing that position. The Dow, also percent B buy, not falling through much here on that. The Dow next target area so far is 47,478. On a closing basis, 47,662. Very key support areas about just about 47,000. The Russell, also percent beat buy right here. The target areas for the Russell 2476.6, 2499 is the key closing area. Support is coming in at 2463, and then Sunday night's lows, and then the closing price from Friday 2440.6. VIX dropping. There's a spike up and the big reversal in the afternoon on Friday. DAX also percent B buy. Coming into the key resistance area. My key resistance is between 24,100 to about 24,120. And we've come up to the 24,094. This one has to get above. The next target beyond that is 24,200 and then 24,375 on the closing basis. The DAX, I will be watching for another rollover play, though, after this gets a little higher. The notes, little easing from earlier when they were down into support. Nothing, the massive double top is not triggered yet. You can see the yields backing off a bit. Yields backing off a bit. I'm going to be watching Friday's low. If we close below that, then that would put a damper on the yields climbing in the short term. 30-year, again, 10-year and 30-year have sloppy double tops. Crude, there's really not much to talk about. I'm just looking at this channeling pullback to break above the channel, but then this is very scalpy trading. Gold, backing off a little, but so far up to the first target area. Backing off, but this looks like it's definitely going to officially trigger. Had to get in it on the some of this momentum, but did have the ability late last night to get in it. So on a shorter closing basis. Not this one. If you're coming out in just a little ahead of the first target, the invalidation point would be just about 39.81 at this point. So it would be a substantial pullback and a close below that to invalidate it. Other than that, keeping in mind the third target is between the 50 and 62.5, so it could easily bounce here and then roll over. But got to trade with the short-term momentum back up. Silver, here's your inverse head and shoulders. Not quite yet to the first target. Copper not doing much besides holding the key trend line. Dollar index pulling back against key support. 99.05 area is very key support. Going to be looking. We have a nice multi-day pullback. Cycle's getting back to the bottom. Possibly this could set up a percent beat buy for tomorrow. It's real close, so it's going to depend on the price action for today. So that's what I'll be keeping an eye on tomorrow. What else do we have? We have the euro. Nice little bounce back to key resistance. Setting up a mini double top. So I'll be looking at that tomorrow also. I should say potential double top. If that percent beat buy were to trigger in the dollar index, we might have this potential double top trigger in the euro and then trade back down to last week's lows. What else do we have? The spiders, again, this would have to be traded in the after hours or pre-market data, but percent beat buy setup. I'm just going 675.45. It's already above that target. 679.01 is the next target. Then you're at 682.58 and you still have a gap left behind. at 683.34, then 686.14. And you have another gap left behind from the all-time highs. So that is it right there. The Qs also, percent B buy. Forgot to update this. Sorry about that. 617.84 is the first target, and we're above there right now. 622.63 is the key area on a closing basis. 627.42. 632.22, right nearly at the gap left behind. So those are the upside targets. Bitcoin. Also, you can see here again, you can clearly see the double on the 4-hour chart. It was triggered. This was easy to get, and it was triggered yesterday midday. Still climbing higher. Now, this is a bounce play only against the rotation zone, and the top of the rotation zone and the first target are virtually the same. And then if it continues, the 50, the 200, and the final target are the same. So that's what we're looking at there. Charles, you wanted to look at soybeans? There's your little minor pullback. Wonder if that's going to get into... Technically, it already triggered a little 4-hour double that looks to be done at this point. Rotating back up. Stop popping up things for me. So your next key area you're going to watch for is 1144. Right beyond this key breakdown area. That's going to be the next target. That's critical. That's going to be the next critical target. Other than that, it's in the rollover zone. So if it does break below 1103, I'd start watching for the bigger pullback again. Because you're still between, this isn't just from the tariffs and China stopping to buy. This has been in place since, look, last September, which it finally broke below. Why do I say I watch for the bigger pullback then? Because it's still, you break down from here, you're still very extended from the weekly rotation zone and the prior breakout area. So that's why I'd be patient then and watch for a pullback closer to 8 EMA on the weekly. What else? We have the gap up in NVIDIA. By the way, NVIDIA also, percent B buy bar on Friday. Tesla coming down. First and second targets pretty much hit on the mini double. This was a little mini double. And now also has a percent B buy bar if it can close above Friday's high. Legion Reaver is loving the 1 ounce contract for gold right now. You're welcome, Charles. So that's it. We're getting the bounce. I'm now going to be watching to see, again, if this sets up a major topping pattern. Right now, to reiterate, we had the probability shift on Friday with a potential capitulation bottom. We have a follow through with a potential confirmed. We have to wait for it to close percent B buy. We still have to get above the 62.5, which would put us then with the probability shifting into double top territory. So this secondary reaction is going to be critical. Keep an eye on that all this week. The secondary reaction is going to be very critical. And with that, I shall talk to everybody again tomorrow. Bye for now.